Welcome to Stirring the Pod podcast, a podcast all about discussing controversial food subjects, historical aspects of food, pretty much everything else food and cooking related. Let me start by introducing my co-hosts. First up, we have Mr. Barbecue Bryan, our resident pitmaster and a past guest on Food Network's Barbecue USA. Welcome, Barbecue Bryan.
What's up, everybody? I'm your favorite pitmaster's favorite pitmaster. It's your boy, Barbecue Bryan. Let's get it going.
Next up, we have Mr. Brandon D., our food science nerd and Southern food expert. Welcome, Brandon D.
Thank you. Welcome, everybody. We're about to have fun on this one. We got some good conversation coming up.
I am KCP, your host and cookie queen. Tonight, you guys, we have several special guests in the studio. Please welcome Caleb Bryan, aka the Cajun Critique, Mr. Kurt Guillory with Louisiana Love Seasoning Blends and Bayou to the World. And last but certainly not least, Mr. Nick Lejeune with Lejeune's Best Cajun Seasoning. Welcome, gentlemen. How are y'all tonight?
Doing well. Thank you so much.
Very good. Fellas?
Thank y'all for having us.
Yeah. Why, this is a treat. Look at this. We're like the Brady Bunch of the food, the cooking food world, the Cajun food world.
The Cajun Brady Bunch. Look at us.
Yeah.
Look at us.
The Brady Bunch.
You gotta look this way and then look this way.
Right? What's up, guys?
Everybody look up at each other.
I don't know where we're going to end up when all of this is recorded.
Excuse me, guys. Sorry.
Oh, man. Okay, so where do we even begin?
Sorry.
This past weekend was the Cajun Burger Cookoff. And, you know, I have said it once and I'll say it many, many times. Thank you, Caleb.
Thank
so
you.
much. You did an excellent job. And yeah, tell us about what went on.
Yeah, so I hosted my very first event ever. And for the last 8 months, I've been telling people to get ready. A lot of people doubted it, especially my locals. Shout out to them. I still love them, but they were not prepared for the surge of people who showed up for me. And it was 17 different teams, lots and lots of different iterations of burgers. It was pretty insane. I didn't know anyone who didn't show up, so I'm very, very grateful for the love and the support. And I'm just ready to do it again.
Yeah. So what was your total? Did you have a total count of how many people were in attendance? I
did. So most people don't know this, but after 2:30, I allowed everybody in to come in free of charge. And I gave away about 300 to 400 additional. But overall, it was around 1,500 plus.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
That is amazing.
Crazy.
That is amazing.
That's pretty awesome.
I tell you what,
Absolutely
I'm from St. Mary Parish, originally born and raised in Franklin, Centerville area. And I was talking to my mom the other day about how we don't have anything. Like growing up, we never had anything like that. If we wanted to attend something like that, we had to go to the big city. We had to go to Lafayette. Yeah. There was never anything like that there. So for you to be able to bring something to the people, it was incredible. It was incredible to see. You say that the public wasn't ready for it. I wasn't even ready for it.
Oh, y'all looked ready.
Somebody will get a cough drop. Sorry.
Man. But the thing is, and Caleb, I don't even know if you know what you pulled off. I've been to a ton of festivals and a ton of cook-offs and a ton of this and ton of that. I've been doing this for a long time. For a first year, an inaugural event to go as big as you went, as smoothly as it went, and with the attendance, it's nothing short of phenomenal, man. You pat yourself on the back. That was just amazing. It's a great event.
Yeah.
I definitely appreciate it. It was.
I just want to ask Caleb too, like just the promotion that you did leading up to the event, like wearing that burger shirt nonstop. You wore like that was your shirt, but
oh yeah, it's
you were hustling out there, and it showed. So I want to I want to give you a big congratulations too, because
Absolutely.
you deserve that, man. You did awesome.
Look, the ultimate goal was to have a bunch of friends, a bunch of family, all get together, us all cook. Not me. One day, you guys will see my cooking skills. But the whole concept was to get the community, and by community, I mean anybody who's there becomes that part of the community. And it wasn't about the profits, it wasn't about the proceeds. It was all about having a ton of people get together and enjoy each other's company. And to me, I feel very successful. It's, like Mr. Kurt said, the amount of people who were there just for those who know about Morgan City, I mean, you'll have an event here, and you'll go to an event, and it's like 50 people, 100 people show up from morning to night. It's not very, very common to get 1,500 people,
No.
under a 2-block radius, bridge. So it was pretty insane, though. And I'm very, very humbled about it, but I'm very much still in awe of what was accomplished. And it wasn't just me. It was me who planned it, who did the logistics and stuff. But it's the teams, it's the vendors, it's the volunteers, and again, you can't have a cook-off without the teams.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
to have everybody, including you guys, all out there, and even Mr. Kurt, we never met before, ever, from my understanding at least.
Sorry about that, guys.
You're forgiven.
Well, but the other part of that is, and y'all could all back me up on this, all the patrons were happy all the time. Nobody was walking around saying, "Oh, this is lame. We shouldn't have come." Everybody had a blast. Everybody ate until they couldn't eat anymore. They had, I mean, it went off like it was supposed to go off. Strong, man.
Yep.
Yeah, it exceeded. I mean, I didn't really have any expectations, but it exceeded those. Like, it was just amazing.
Yep.
Everybody had such a great time, and there was this rooster that kept crowing the whole time. I don't know, y'all heard that?
I don't know who that
heard it.
was or what that was. Oh, they were turned up though. I know that.
Wow.
Volume was
come
on 10.
That's crazy.
Yes. So we definitely want to address, Caleb, you're number one in our book. Absolute number one in our book. But we have Mr. Kurt came in second place, and Nick third place. I think we did a really good job, guys.
Yeah, I think so too.
If you haven't heard, we came in first.
Yeah, I was about to say, who's number one?
That would be us.
Oh, I thought it was me.
Somebody had
wait,
to. Hey,
wait.
hey.
Somebody has to take top prize.
Yeah, we were 1B. Caleb was 1A.
Yeah, 1B.
I want to know about y'all's burgers. So I got to taste Nick's burgers, but I didn't get to taste your burger.
I'm disappointed I didn't get to taste it.
Yeah, I know, me too. Tell us a little bit about what you did.
So I did a slider, and the only reason why I did a slider is because I didn't want to take time to cut a burger into portions. I thought that would just take more time. And there's a local bakery that came up about 18 months ago in Lafayette. It's called Straw Cove Bakery. And it's two ladies. One of them used to have a bakery in New Orleans. They mill their own flour. They get wheat.
Wow.
They get wheat shipped in, and they mill their own flour. Their bread is phenomenal.
Oh, so, if you're doing that, it's got to be.
Yeah. Oh no, they're no joke. So I used them for my buns, and as it turned out, they were like, "You were the biggest order we've ever had." I ordered 400 buns. And I was
nice.
like, "Oh, okay, well, great. I'm glad I could help." So I did a combination burger. I did 50-50 brisket and sirloin, and seasoned. And I made a cream cheese vinaigrette dressing to go on the buns, and then some microgreens and Havarti cheese. And it was good. It was a good burger. It turned out okay.
Nice.
Yeah,
Well, it turned out better than okay.
Yeah, second place. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it, and everybody else did. But I tell you what, man, the competition was stiff. I mean, the three of us, the three teams here, we won first, second, and third, and I'm not privy to what the scores were, but it had to have been tight because everybody was going around saying how good everything was.
Right.
I don't think there were any slouches over there. So
I don't think
nobody
so.
was slacking.
You know, I had a conversation.
Except St. Mary Parish won People's Choice. I think the fix was in.
It was like, hey, you want to get that ticket fixed? You can drop that blue ticket in.
Some of the policemen had come up, and I was like, y'all come eat. They said, we don't have no tickets. So, no, you can have this on me. This is for that ticket I'm going to get after a while.
Yeah. hey, listen, me and Brandon D went talk to those guys before the competition, and we got to meet them and see their little cook area and stuff. And a lot of those guys worked with my late great brother, that was a detective for St. Mary Parish. So we got to reminiscing and stuff. So, you know, I got to stick up for those guys a little bit. Hey, y'all defend yourself though. Don't let them. They got to you like that.
I tell you what, they got a nice cook trailer, man. That thing is cool.
Nice rig. Yeah, they got a nice rig.
The floor in it is stadium seating, man. I was like, that is smart, man.
Yeah.
I was like, that is real. They said, yeah, you can just power wash everything out of here. I was like, that's a good idea.
Yep.
Dang.
Nice. Yep. All right.
I was actually having a conversation with someone earlier, and they were wondering about their scores, and they didn't know their ticket number, and it's like 15 of the teams don't remember their ticket numbers, and I said I really can't track it down, but I'll tell you this: there was no scores that were like 70 points or 50 points or 40 points ahead. Everybody was neck to neck for the most part. Every single team was like 5 points, 8 points, 9 points. I'm talking about, usually, I'll go to these competitions and I'll do the judging and, it's like, 45 or 85 points ahead. These people are like this and this and this, the entire lineup. And that's what made it really, really like interesting,
Yeah. Yeah, we've been to some competitions where the scoring has been kind of, I would say, questionable. So I'm not gonna.
And I tell you what, I got to tell you too, that system of identifying the plates with the 2-part tickets, that was ingenious. That was a great way to do it. I had never seen that before. That was fantastic. That assured no favoritism.
Right.
Oh, absolutely. And our friend Rusty actually came up with that for me. So
yeah. Well, I was worried about him because he had a burger stamp after all. I was like, I sure hope he's not stamping his burger to the judges.
I think a lot of people were concerned about it. So.
Yeah. No, he didn't stamp. He was doing that for the crowd, but
yeah,
he was doing that to mess with all you.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm very familiar with the 2-ticket, the dual ticket system, cooking competition barbecue with BCA.
Yeah,
that's how we do it here in Louisiana. It's a little different in Texas and other areas, but it works out. But the key is because we've had plenty of cooks to lose that ticket. Make sure you take a picture of it.
Right.
Make sure you have a very safe place where that. B will tell you. I was talking to him the whole time because I'm so like. I've been doing this a long time, so I was like, B, you have the ticket? Where's the ticket at?
Make sure I had it. I had taken a picture of it too.
I get nervous about that.
Yeah, at CBA competitions we have a QR code, which is pretty cool. So
yeah,
they're a little high tech.
Takes a little bit more technology, but no, that was great. Nick, talk to the people, man. Tell them.
Yeah, tell us.
So I'll tell you a little bit about what we did for our burger. I want to start off by thanking Coastal Plains Meat Company because they actually donated 10 pounds of meat to every team.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, that meat looks so good. We decided to use that instead of what we originally bring.
Wow.
And that was some very good meat. Let me tell you, that was a big part of our third place finish. So a big thank you to them. So what we did was we took that meat, we seasoned it with some Luzerne's Best Cajun seasoning.
No, huh?
A few other ingredients that I can't say, but so after that, I had my cooking team. It was Mona's Southern Soul Food. They have a food trailer in the New Iberia area, so I also want to give a big thank you to them. So we came together with my seasoning, and they have a secret barbecue sauce, sweet barbecue sauce that they call Slap Your Daddy sauce.
Oh.
So that's what we did for our burger. So we had a combination of my seasoning, which is a little bit unique. It's a Cajun blend, but it has just a pinch of cinnamon to give it a little bit of a sweet flavor coming on the back end of it.
Mhm.
And it really went well with the barbecue sauce that we had with the burger.
I
So
could see that.
I didn't get to taste anybody's burgers but ours. Man,
Oh,
why
I
did
I
you
tasted.
happening?
I
Once
tasted.
it started, man. Once it started,
Yeah.
it was just
Right.
it was nonstop.
we were just cooking.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
that was the thing. Like,
I
we were
mean,
just cooking. So
blowing
I
and
didn't
going.
have time to eat a full one of my burgers until probably 2 hours in. It was like finally like, okay, I can finally sit down.
Oh
and
yeah.
eat the
it's
burger.
true, man. It was.
Yeah.
I mean, from the time it was like everybody was waiting for the first person to get one, and when they saw it,
Right.
said, "Let's go."
Oh yeah. It was nonstop.
it was some running. It was some running and gunning out there. It was not. It was
Oh,
it was a
no
lot
joke,
of movement.
man. I mean,
Yeah,
It was.
And to be
We
honest,
had a good system, but like the system was, we only have time to cook burgers for us, for the people, and for judges. Like, we don't have time to. I
right.
got to taste Nick's burger, which was really good, and I also tasted the Cajun Greeks burger, which was also really good too. I was
Very good.
I
surprised
wanted to taste that one. Yeah,
it was good. It was good. It was really good. It was cooked very well, seasoned very well.
Mhm.
It was a good burger too. So I got to try those two, but I was kind of disappointed. I didn't get to try Rusty's. I didn't get to try
Yeah.
Dave's. I didn't try
Dave's.
them.
I got to try y'all's, and it was very good.
Thank you.
I got to try another one that was interesting. I don't remember. You might remember, Caleb. They made a shrimp burger. Like they
Yeah.
actually put fried
That's
shrimp
how
on the
you like it.
burger, and I thought that was really unique. It was delicious.
Rock
It's little
That's
solid.
pretty
surf and
cool.
turf.
Rock Salad. That's who it was.
Yeah.
They had a good burger.
Dang.
Yeah, I'm all for it.
Man,
it's interesting because it's like the better your burger was, the busier you were because
Oh, yeah.
people were going grab other people to bring them to your area.
Yep.
It's like
Yeah, they were grabbing people. We were asking, "Oh, can I have a whole one?" I'm like, I guess,
Yeah.
Yeah,
what
we
was
had
y'all?
people-
So what was y'all burger? What was y'all? Stir the pot. What was
All
y'all?
right. All right, boys, y'all break it down.
So I'll break down what we had. We had a spicy kind of semi-smashed beef burger patty that was 50% brisket, Wagyu brisket, and 50% chuck, with and then we had a spicy aioli that went on there, and we had a white pepper jack American cheese that was on the cheese, and I have Brandon explain the other elements of it too.
yeah. So we paired all of that with first of all, the patties were seasoned really well. We came up with a nice little seasoning blend for the patty. It was perfect. And
Yeah, we used Gaspard Cajun heat and some other stuff that I'm not going to tell y'all just yet.
the gas bars was definitely the number one
Yeah.
stunner on that burger, but we had a few other ingredients along with it, and then I made my homemade bacon jam, which is more of a savory type of bacon jam, almost like a chutney.
Yeah, it's not super. It's not really sweet at all. I would say it's
hint of sweetness with it was basically a jammy chutney, like a chutney with a jammy consistency, but it was cooked down incredibly well. I didn't want anybody to get any bites of onion because some people are just real weird about that. So it's cooked down incredibly well, and then we had some crispy onions on top of that on a nice toasted buttery brioche bun. Say that 5 times fast.
I'm good, thank you though.
Yeah,
It was really good.
It was good.
It came together really well.
it did. We're really happy with it. All the elements worked really well together. We all collaborated on this. It was very much a team effort. I don't think the bacon jam burger was something that Barbecue Brand had done before, but we kind of changed up his a burger that he cooked in another competition and kind of I want to say kind of just made it a little bit more friendly, a little bit more familiar. He had some chefy elements on there too, but there was a different competition. He was cooking for chefs, so it needed to be a little bit more like that. So
Yeah.
kind of went with some kind of simplified some elements and came up with a new sauce and it's real important. Like, texture in burgers are so important. It's so important to have the right texture on a burger. You can't just have good flavor. The texture has to be right. especially
if
with
the
the kind of
patty's mealy, then it doesn't matter how good it tastes.
yeah, it's if the patty's mealy or tough, or it tastes like it tastes like a meatball, too
Too
Right.
thick.
spongy. Yeah,
Yep.
too thick, so it's really about texture. And like we're using a brioche bun, so a brioche bun's fairly soft. This is not a
Right.
super substantial bun, so you have to be able to bite through that bun real easily and not you have your burger pull apart with you trying to chew through it.
Right. And at the same time, the bread has to be strong enough to hold up to the moisture.
Correct.
Everything's a balancing act. Everything has to be
is.
in proportion.
It
And
is.
that's and that's why we chose like you want to protect your bun from your burger. Mayonnaise is what does it. I mean, the aioli mayo, like on the bottom, it'll keep that stuff from soaking through, and actually tastes really good because the meat juice is mixed with the mayo, and that gives you kind of a little extra flavor.
Absolutely.
But you gotta protect your bun, because if you have a delicate bun like a brioche, which is fairly delicate, you could soak through your burger and end up with a bottom bun that's just greasy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh yeah, it's all a delicate balancing act, with textures and flavors, and just making sure you don't have a sloppy mess.
Yeah, and the crispy onions, that's we needed that for texture, because we didn't put any type of vegetable element on there, and there was no lettuce. Hey, look, I don't mind people but putting lettuce on their burgers, but not on mine. No rabbit food, man. It's just like there's no lettuce, no tomatoes. And the thing is, I like lettuce and tomatoes on other types of sandwiches, especially if it's like a cold sandwich. Lettuce works really good, but on hot sandwiches, I feel like lettuce gets destroyed.
Well,
That's
to me, it's all about timing. If it sits around, yeah. But I love I like the hot and cold. It's like when I eat a steak, I like a slice of cold tomato to put on the steak. I love it.
Oh, that's good to see that.
World.
Yeah. It's you can't
But if it sits around, no good.
Yeah, you can't take a burger with lettuce and wrap it up real tight, hot, and let it sit. Yeah,
Nope.
if you serve it like an open burger, like an open steakhouse burger, where you serve with the lettuce open and stuff, that could work, letting the patty cool off. But if that patty heats that lettuce up, it turns it weird, and it's not my favorite texture.
That's true.
You were saying something, Nick?
Yeah, well, I was just saying we did a more traditional burger. We actually dressed it with like ketchup, mayonnaise, pickles, lettuce, tomatoes, and a lot of people actually said like that they like the traditional.
Yeah. So, Kayla, what made you decide? First of all, two-part question for you. What made you decide that you wanted to do a cook-off? And then when you decided you wanted to do a cook-off, what made you decide that you wanted to do burgers?
Honestly, the craziest thing was the inspiration was me going to other cook-offs and said, wow, like I love, because usually I'm a head judge or I'm judging at every event that I do. And I've done a ton. Last year, I think it was like 60 something in a year. And I was just going every weekend, 2 or 3 times a week.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah, I love food. My passion, is absolutely just eating food, critiquing food. And I just figured, why not bring something like that to my own city? And I felt like I was finally at the point where I could do it and it would be successful. And then I said, what's the hardest thing when it comes down to cook-offs? I said, what's one of the most expensive things ever right now? And it's ground meat, ground beef, And I said, that's what I'm going to do. And I did it because people said, you won't get any teams if you do burgers. That's too expensive. No one's going to come out here and support that. And my response to them was every single time was, watch me. Watch me.
There you go.
And look, I was 100% sure, like I had enough friends to where like these people would do it, if I asked. And not because, some of them were because they wanted to win, but because they wanted to support me in this idea and go somewhere different, I've been to a lot of cook-offs, and some cook-offs are 20 people, 30 people in attendance the entire day. And I wanted to do a big cook-off and kind of make it explode in my own city as the first one. So that's why I put in all the work that I did. And again, I just want to do burgers because people said it wouldn't work.
Yeah. Hey.
Everybody loves burgers, though.
Yeah,
I
true.
mean,
Everybody loves
like
burgers.
like
Who
a
don't?
burger competition. I mean, like,
yeah.
you know,
So
I was like,
Caleb,
man, I'd be
so
totally
Caleb,
down.
did it surpass your expectations?
It did, because originally, you know, I told people for sure I'll have 500 to 600 people there, and I
Right.
ended up having about 3 times as much,
Damn.
and which
Fantastic,
is, you know,
man.
crazy. I'm still reeling about that, but you know, I remember I was judging, and my friend had came and got me, and she said, "Hey, you know, my friend Haley was like, you got to go out there and see the crowd." And I'm like, "Oh, I can see it from the window." She's like, "No, you got to go out there and see the crowd." And so I was like, "Okay, well, we're waiting on burgers. I'll be right back." And I went and looked into the crowd, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go back in." I said, "That's a lot of people." I said,
Yeah.
"That is, you know, it looked like the Shrimp and Petroleum was at its prime year all over again,
Oh,
years
wow.
ago.
Yeah,
with
it
people.
was a lot, man. I remember
Yeah.
like we're focused on cooking burgers and we're
Yeah.
serving, getting stuff ready, getting our system ready, and then I look around the crowd. I'm like, whoa, man, there is a lot of people here.
Yeah.
And it just kept coming.
And I was like, let's get to cooking. I said, let's start cranking out, man.
And once you started serving, they never your table was never empty. There was always somebody in
Yep.
front of you.
Yeah.
You know,
Or
Yeah.
waiting, just waiting.
never
Always a lot.
stopped.
You always cutting 4 and then making another one, dressing them up and cutting
Yep.
4.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It was definitely a
It
lot.
was
It was a
it
lot.
was
of
a lot
people.
of fun. It was a lot of fun.
It was
But
good. It was a good time. It really was.
It was a great time. The day went by quick, Bo.
oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
you did.
That's the
That's what
problem
it
for me,
is.
guys.
It was funny
was-
because KCP ended up going to the store, getting just a couple of things that we needed or whatever for the day that we may have missed. And me and Brandon D we had finished setting up, and we were just kind of sitting around. It's like, all right, we can't really cook any burgers right now. So it was kind of like the calm before the storm. You know, we were just hanging out, and like, it's kind of drizzling. Like, man, I hope we have a good turnout today. You know, I really want Caleb to succeed in this. And like, all right, we just didn't have anything to do, just twiddling our thumbs. And then all of a sudden, the floodgates opened,
Mhm.
and the grill got hot, and it stayed hot all day long.
Oh,
we-
yes.
All day long, baby. That thing was
Oh,
working.
yeah. Yeah, we did some work on that thing, and I was like, man, this is take. I was like, we're not gonna start cooking. We don't need to start cooking until like I said, like 9:30 or something like that. Or no, 10:15. I said we'll start cooking about 10:15. That was a mistake. We should have started
Yeah.
cooking at 9:30, something like that.
Really? So my question to you guys is, before the gates open, which I'm presuming it was 11.
Right.
Was there people outside waiting to get in?
Not that I noticed, really. I mean, I
Wow.
was
Or
more.
just
I
came
was,
in like
yeah.
it's
I
happening.
was going around shooting the shit, messing with people, and going look at the sheriff's cook trailer and stuff. So I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, it was
no
more
one
so,
was, 'cause
like-
no,
Yeah, it was just more so people kind of just moseying in, just
Yeah.
a little bit at a time, and then
Right. It's
all
kind
of a
of
sudden
trickling in.
more, and then
Boom, that was
more,
a
and
thousand.
then
Yep.
There waiting for
Yeah,
It was
seemed-
nuts.
lunchtime.
Like church.
It
let
seemed
out.
to drop real. Yeah, it seemed to drop real quick. Like all of a sudden, like we serve like a couple. We get like 4 out, and they're gone. And then there's
Boom.
people lined up, and I was like, oh, okay. I said we got to get on it. And then we had to get like a system for our burgers because there was a specific assembly that we wanted, so we had to get a system. We had to toast buns,
Same.
toasted buns on the same thing that we're cooking burgers on.
Yep.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
we got to get we got to figure out the temperature zones for our burgers. We start on this side. There's 2. We finish in the middle, start on the 2 sides, but we have to have one side clear when we're doing buns.
Mm-hmm.
It was a little bit of a
Learning curve.
I guess you say a little bit of a dance at first, but once we
Yeah.
got a system down, we were good.
Got it figured out.
Figured out how much to put on everything. Hey, this is the right amount we're putting on. This is the right amount of sauce, the right amount of cheese, right amount of onions and salt and chutney on it. So we had to kind of get like a system going. But once we got it going, yeah, we were good. We're in the groove.
Yeah.
Nick,
Well,
how was
I was
your?
definitely understaffed. I took my wife was gracious enough to come with me and my youngest daughter. And so we were 3, and I'm like, it's gonna be good. I could have used 2 more people, but
Oh yeah,
could have used some more hands, man.
yeah. I think for
I gotta say about the location. So this is kind of a funny insight. So you said you kept saying, well, it's under the bridge. So my wife says, where are we going again? I said, we're going to Morgan City. She said, what for? I said, for this. She said, where is it? I said, well, it's under a bridge. She said, what have you gotten us into? under a bridge around here is usually either water or mud. It's just
Right,
not concrete. You know?
Right.
It's a pretty nice location.
It
Pretty
was
nice
fantastic.
location.
It was fantastic. That was great.
It was really good.
No problem.
Yeah, that,
Yeah.
I normally cook in that same exact spot every year with BCA for the barbecue competition, and it's usually in July. So I love under that bridge because the brunt of that sun isn't killing us in the
That's right.
in the
Keep you
heat
at
of
the
summer while I'm on that pit, or
Right.
all of my pits, shall I say? But so I knew exactly where we were whenever he said, you know, it was gonna be under the bridge. I'm like, all right,
I was
cool.
like,
It was
Follow
all different.
me.
It was all foreign to me, but it worked out fantastic, man.
Yeah.
The weather held out, man, and we thought it was going to be like a washout. It wasn't. It was just a great time, and you know,
Oh, it was a different kind of washout.
Yeah. It was a washout with people.
yeah.
So I have a question that I want to bring up, and just I guess to tell people. Well, first of all, I find it very interesting that we have second and third place that have their own seasoning blends, and I find that very, very unique. So I want to start with Nick. So Nick, tell us a little bit about your seasoning and when you got started. What was your inspiration for starting your seasoning?
Yeah, so right here I got Lavern's Best Cajun Seasoning. So my inspiration behind this is actually that I'm a lifelong football fan. I'm a big fan of UL, the Saints, and especially LSU. So naturally, I'm a Joe Burrow fan. I followed him into the NFL on the Cincinnati Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
The year that they went to the Super Bowl, I was in a Facebook group where it became a thing where people sent food down from Cincinnati to Louisiana, and we sent food from Louisiana to Ohio so that we could try it for the Super Bowl. So I put together a care package of different Cajun seasonings, some roux, some Zapp's potato chips, and they sent some of their food, something called Skyline chili, some different chips from over there. And the feedback that I got from them was that they all loved the Cajun seasoning, but they couldn't get it over there. So that inspired me to kind of get in the kitchen, make a traditional Cajun blend. But then I wanted to see if I could take just a pinch of their culture, which is where I added just a little bit of cinnamon in there, a little bit of chili powder. When I tried that in the kitchen, I was like, man, this is something a little bit unique, but it was really good. So I played with that recipe for about 2 years. I wanted to make sure that it was low sodium. It's a low sodium product. And then after that, it just became the branding. I have a cartoon of myself. I wanted to be the image of the seasoning. I got my my classic orange hat. So then I had to take my recipe, get someone to create it, and then before you know it, I'm in 26 stores. So
That's. I always say you can't knock his hustle. You got to hustle like no other. I'll tell you that much.
So yeah, I started last September. I never thought that this soon I'd already be doing getting third place in a prestigious cook-off and having this many stores looking for a distributor and everything like that. So
you placed also in the Sable Seasoning Fest too, right?
yes, I did. We got second place in the Karen Crow Sable Seasoning Fest as well. So it's good on fries and good on burgers.
Hey, there you go.
Nice.
So what did you cook at? What did you cook at that festival?
So that they provided French fries for everybody to put their seasoning on.
Okay.
Oh, that's a really cool idea.
Yeah, it was like just basically to get the taste of the seasoning,
Right.
rather than like a dish.
A pretty equal playing field.
You know
Right.
what I really love is the fact that we're such a hodgepodge of cultures here in Southern Louisiana, and we lose sight of that sometimes about how many different types of people are here. And then for you, just to hear your backstory on your seasoning and how that came to be, with you kind of blending with another culture outside of Louisiana and making something that everybody can enjoy and kind of has a part in. I think that's really cool.
I like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's really unique.
I had to put my my fandom goes into this. Like I'm a huge football fan. I got all kind of autographs and stuff on the wall. Just
Hey,
it all
Nice.
goes into
I
it. My
definitely
passion.
feel that. I'm a huge
Yeah.
football fan.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
that's make that your tailgate seasoning. Like, that is the one right
right.
There
there.
you go.
2025 football season.
Hey, let's go. All right. Going over to you, Mr. Kurt. Tell us about your seasoning.
Well, so Louisiana Love. I host 2 television shows. One's a grilling show, and one is a new show that I just premiered. It's basically a Cajun cooking show, and the seasoning was born out of the grilling show. The grilling show's been on air for 11 years, and
Wow.
I created the seasoning from every time we would cook something, I would mix on set. I was like, well, wait a minute, I'll just do this at the house,
Right.
cut out the
Right.
middleman. So I did, but I went through a process of ingredient sourcing that was pretty arduous. So I only use kosher salt, and I only use coarse grain kosher salt, and that stuff is not readily available. And the paprika I use has a specific oil content. The granulated garlic has to be a certain shape. Believe it or not, that stuff does have shapes to it, and all this stuff, all those things. And so I finally found a supplier, and they were able to. When you start out, wholesale suppliers are not real anxious to provide 150-pound sack of ingredients to some yo-yo in Eagan, Louisiana, because it's more problems than it's worth. But so you have to sell yourself to them. So listen, I'm going to stick with you, and they know you probably going to flame out. I mean, that's just the nature of the beast. So we stuck with it. We grew organically, very slowly, bit by bit. We got in our market, and it solidified our market, and then we was able to start ordering more and more product. I mix everything myself. I'm one of the only seasoning manufacturers that does that. A lot of people contract out and have it blended. I blend my own.
Wow.
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
Whoa.
a lot of late nights. A lot of late nights.
Wow.
Oh, that's a labor of love
Goodness.
right there.
Wow.
Very busy dude.
Yeah, but it translates, and the reason why is that I just can't find anybody to do it the way I want it done. I'm too particular about it. So until I can't
Nothing
do
wrong
it
with
anymore
that.
like that,
I get it.
But yeah,
Yeah.
so we started with that, and we have an original. This is the original blend, and then we have one that has extra love written across, and that one's a hotter version of this. We have
Yeah.
a salt-free version, which is no sodium.
Nice.
We have barbecue sauce. We have injected marinade, and I found out today, a guy just my wife and I own a T-shirt printing company in Jennings. And a guy comes in, and of course I have some of my seasoning for sale over there, and he buys everything I have on the shelf. So she starts talking to him, and it turns out that he's the chef for the San Antonio Spurs, and he uses my season for the Spurs.
Nice.
I was like,
That's
Wow.
awesome. That's awesome, man.
I know
That is really cool.
Yeah, I found that out today. I was like, well, that's nice. I mean, I don't know if I'll be able to get the official endorsement, but you take what you can get.
Hey, look.
Hey,
Hey,
I'll
Jack,
take
tell
the
her-
warm and fuzzies any day, right?
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
right.
So,
All it would take is you going over there and maybe shaking a couple of hands. Hey, you know who this belongs
this is.
to? Yeah.
You know why your food tastes good, right?
Yeah.
So,
That's cool.
yeah,
That's
so,
cool. That's
So we've been
Neat.
we've been fortunate, but the real trick, at least for me, has been it's a second job. Okay, it's not my primary source of income. I would have starved a long time ago if it was. So, but the flip side to that is you grow much slower. Now it's managed growth, but it's very slow. Sometimes it's like, why am I even doing this? There have been months where you break even, no profit whatsoever. And there's months where you make literally $10, $15 profit, and you're like, well, hey, at least I made something,
right.
And so you start to question why. But for me, it's always been something that I wanted to do besides my day job. So
Right.
Now if I'd have painted myself in a corner and said, okay, I'm quitting the day job and I'm forcing myself to do this, I think it would have probably come much quicker, but it would have come at a much greater cost too. You know,
Right. But
so
I mean, like there's always the thing about growing fast, getting bigger, and making less money too. You know, the bigger your business gets, the less efficient you get. So and especially there's an efficiency thing to it.
Well, B, you make a good. So my day job is I'm a commercial banker, so I deal with businesses day in day out. I've been doing this for 25 years. I see financial statement, and I can't stress enough managed growth, because growing fast is fantastic, but the fall is much harder than the climb.
Oh yeah,
and it always happens. You grow so rapidly, you can't manage that growth, and you lose control of what's going on around you, and you before when you catch your breath, there's nothing left to it. Whereas if you grow very slowly and steadily, you get to manage the pitfalls, because there's always pitfalls in everything you do. It just happens. That's the way it is. And that's true. Investors invest in stocks, they look for the ones that grow. Just creep it on like 7-10% a year. That's what they want. The ones that boom like that, they don't want no part of that.
Yeah.
Especially a lot of businesses end up in a situation where they're just cash poor from just too much growth. They're overexpanding.
Absolutely.
And you end up cash poor, and when something happens and your business tanks for some stupid reason, and you're like cash poor and you can't pay your bills, that can hurt you.
And it doesn't take much. And you make an excellent point. So that in banking business, they call it cash flow, right? So cash in, cash out. You could have something as simple as an insurance claim.
Right.
Okay. So I have equipment for my business, and some of it gets damaged. Well, my deductible is 15% of face value. So they're going to cut me a check for the replacement value of that thing minus 15%. If it's $150,000 piece of equipment, I got to come out of pocket with 25, 30 grand. If I don't have it, I don't get that piece of equipment. If I don't get that piece of equipment, I can't produce what I did before. Now it's a cascade effect, And you see that over and over and over again. People love to grow, and they, don't wait till tomorrow. It's very important to take a breath and see what's in front of you before you take that step.
Mr. Kirk taking us to school tonight, y'all. Y'all didn't know y'all was coming to Mr. Kirk Business School tonight.
No, that's good advice.
Managed growth right there. Listen.
I found it very interesting. You talked about paprika and your oil content in your paprika, and I want people to realize this. Paprika comes in a wide variety of qualities, and bad paprika can absolutely train wreck seasoning. It can absolutely destroy your food.
Absolutely.
Because a really high oil paprika can develop a very off rancid flavor that you'll be like, why is it? You just taste it like it just tastes rancid and super bitter. So Pat, I'm really proud of you for really checking the quality of your paprika, because it's a tricky ingredient, because a bad quality paprika is absolute trash, and a good one gives you just the right amount of flavor, but a bad one can really wreck your seasoning.
So for anybody, and you're 100% right. So here's a little inside tip. McCormick makes the worst products on the planet Earth because they're a huge business, and they demand so much of the market. They have to take every ounce of produce they can get. And I know it sounds like a knock on McCormick, and listen, McCormick rules grocery stores, and I'm not kidding you. During COVID, there was a freeze on ordering in the Rouse's. We're in Rouse's, and so I called my distributor. I was like, "What's going on?" He said, "I don't know." So I called Thibodeau, talked to the guys at Rouse's, and they said, "Well, McCormick said we can't put anything on the shelves." I said, "Well, I don't work for McCormick." So, yeah, you do. You just don't know it. McCormick shelf space is doled out in 3-inch linear areas, right? Because a can is 3 inches wide. So this can is a 302 by 602. It's 3 inches by 6 inches. So they dole out shelf space linear inches by 3 inches at a time. McCormick's gets all of it that they want, all of it, every single linear inch, and then they let you know what you can have. That's how strong they are in the market.
Wow!
And they're also in frozen foods. They're in seasoning mixes. They're in everything. They're in everything. But because you're a juggernaut like that, you cut price, and you have to watch costs very, very, very closely. So you sacrifice quality. There's a brand of spice that you could buy on Amazon called Frontier. They are excellent. I mean, they're fantastic. They really are. For retail product, you ain't getting no better. It's Frontier. I don't know where they come from. I don't. But I was in a pinch, and I had to have some paprika, and I was working on an experimental recipe, and I needed a certain ingredient. So instead of buying a 50-pound sack, I bought a 3-pound sack, a 3-pound bag, and it's Frontier. Mm-hmm. It was amazing, and it still is. Wow. So if you're looking to either blend your own stuff, maybe not for retail, but just for something you want in your house, look for Frontier.
We'll definitely look for that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We like to experiment in this house.
Yep. All same. Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I learned a lot right there in that 5-minute segment.
No kidding. We went to school. Yeah. We went to school for sure. Okay, so Caleb, what do you have cooking? You have any cook-offs? You have any aspirations? I mean, you got to have the follow-up, right?
Yeah.
Is it secret stuff still, or
the sophomore album?
After what Mr. Kurt just said, I think I'm just gonna not do it.
I tell you a thing about business. Remember this: success is when you have success, it's temporary. You do rent on success all the time. So you're successful 1 minute, but that doesn't mean you're successful in the future. So it's always work,
Yeah.
Never stop hustling.
No. Success is a reality, but the results are temporary. They don't last.
Yeah. Talk to any car salesman; they'll tell you.
Yeah.
At the first of every month, you're at zero. I don't care how good you were on the 31st. On the first, not. Let's start all over.
Zero.
Yeah.
I do have some things cooking up. Literally, I'm planning my second cook-off right now. I just started doing it the second I got home on Saturday night. I started planning it. Today I had some meetings with people to kind of put some things in place. I want to do a second cook-off this year. I want to do a second one. It's not going to be burgers. It's going to be something completely different. Something that everyone in the world loves. And I just want to go ahead and just put something on because I have people saying like, we want another one. We want another one. It didn't last long enough. And
keep on wanting more, Caleb. Keep
on
wanting more.
I remember there was a commercial after the Super Bowl, after the Cowboys won, a team that I don't like, but whatever.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, it sure was. But it was Emmitt Smith, and he just won the Super Bowl. He had won MVP in that Super Bowl, and he just sits down. He's like, you know what? Enjoys it for like a minute, and then back to lifting weights, back to work. It's like just right after that. What's next? Because there's no time. You can't celebrate your victories or losses too long. You got to move on.
Cam Jordan with the Saints.
Dustin Poirier, the UFC fighter from around here, same thing. When Dustin, after he finishes a fight, what you doing? I'm gonna rest for a couple of days and we get back at it.
Exactly.
That's right. And I figured why rest?
Okay.
Go ahead and get started. And at least with this time, I know what to expect as far as logistics and planning. And it's going to be the same thing all over again with promoting every single day, videos every day, promoting the teams. And, I think that's what really got people out there is giving everyone an introduction of the teams. And
we'll be there. We'll sign us up, man.
Yeah, man. I'm going to try to get a date that works for the majority of people because I'd love for everyone to be there and, just be a part of it. That's what I love, and that's what I really appreciate. And I give you all of you kudos for just coming out. And I know it's financial sacrifices. I know it's time away from your families, and it truly meant the world to me.
I mean, you said burger competition. I was like, oh, that sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Because we do like I mean, it was a lot of work, but the stress level wasn't the worst. I mean, I think barbecue with competitions are the worst stress level just because of the timing.
Right.
The timing is you invest hours into something, and if it's screwed up, it's like there's no starting over. It's like it is what it is.
Y'all just look over to Barbecue Brand's face.
You preaching to the choir. I mean, right now. Listen. hours. We talking days, weeks.
Days.
Like
Wow.
whenever it's a competition coming up, I got a competition coming up not this weekend but next. I started planning 2 months ago. Like
Right.
Wow.
this burger, like these types of cook-offs are very low stress for me. This was
Yeah.
fun. I
had
don't
to
care
keep
how
it-
much work it was. This was fun all day long.
Yeah.
It was fun.
No matter
and
the
I told
sweat. No, it doesn't matter.
I told B, I said, B, look, we're just gonna make like 5 pounds of Judge's Burger mix, right? We had like 6 or 7 pounds of Judge's Burger mix, and I was like, I said, B, it doesn't matter if we screw up a couple burgers. I said, it means nothing. Well, they cook so quick. We can just cook another one just like
Absolutely.
that, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, so it's just like we have such a margin for error here.
Yeah.
I mean, like when barbecue, your margin for error is
0.
very small, 0.
Yeah.
And one of the worst things you can do is pivot in a barbecue competition.
Yep.
Yeah, and I did it at my first rib cook back in January. I pivoted on my sauce. I wasn't happy with the sauce I made, and I was like, man, I don't like this sauce. It's too strong. And I had to pivot and make a new sauce, but it worked out. And then B's like, you know what? That doesn't work out most of the time.
Yeah.
I was like, I had to pivot. I was like, I don't like this sauce. The sauce wasn't bad, but it just wasn't right. And I said, I have these other 2 sauces. I'm just gonna mix this and make something up.
Wow.
Probably wasn't the best idea, but it worked
Hey,
out.
it worked out. You got 7th place ribs, so
It did, yeah,
that's
it really
pretty good.
did.
But you know,
Yeah.
Caleb, I think part of your success too was you was able to get a very diverse group of people to compete. So and what I mean by diverse is from all over Acadiana. So
Right, yeah.
we plugged into our social media networks and and got everybody involved and excited and coming and all this stuff. Nick did the same thing. Y'all did the same thing. Rusty has a huge following,
Oh, God.
you know.
Yes.
So
He's got groupies, you know.
you know,
I said he's got groupies.
he's got groupies. He does, you know.
Yeah.
Groupies and lackeys, you know.
He does
Everybody
a lot
trying to catch a piece of the limelight, you know.
he does a lot of good work, though. He really does.
He does.
He's a great guy, man. Rusty is. I mean, like, if you hang around Rusty with a cooking competition and you don't have fun,
It's on you.
you're not trying at
It's
all.
on
Yeah,
you.
man. Every competition we've been with that dude, man, it's just been an absolute blast. So
Yeah.
I love cooking next to Rusty.
I want to.
Why do it if you're not gonna have fun?
All right. I mean,
Exactly. What you said, B?
Oh, I just wanted to commend Caleb on your promoting skills.
Oh yeah.
Like fire,
It's tiring.
son.
Yeah.
yes.
That's
We
true,
have
yeah.
been in my league in BCA. We have different promoters for all of our events, and I don't want to talk bad about any of our promoters. We have some really good promoters, but
Yeah.
just to watch your whole process and how the build up to this event, I was in awe. Just because I'm like, man, this is how you bring people in. Not only cooks, but
Oh yeah.
the public as well. Just your introductions to everyone,
Yep.
your introductions to the judges. Just
Mhm.
if you weren't hyped up for this event, you don't have
Oh,
a
yeah.
pulse.
No,
Right.
Like this is something
We were
you
fired up.
wanted to be a part of, and
Absolutely.
you made that happen from
Right.
the start. So like, yeah, big
Yes.
ups to you for that. Awesome.
Thank you
That's
very
right.
much.
No.
Really
I think you know, B, you bring up a good point. A lot of barbecue competitions, you don't get to taste any barbecue if you don't know anybody.
Well, that's
Right.
a whole
Right.
different conversation for another day.
Yeah.
Oh
it sure
yeah,
I'm
is.
not
yeah,
even
yeah.
getting
We're gonna
into
table
it.
that for another time.
and I tell you what, it's very interesting because a friend of mine said he was coming because there was a video where I was sitting in the snow in shorts with my burger T-shirt on, and he said that was the moment I knew you were serious. And it was 16 degrees. I remember because I posted it. 16 degrees. I'm like, hey guys, see, Cajun Critique here, and I'm just in the snow, just sitting down in the snow. And he was like, "That's the moment when I knew, like, you weren't joking about this." And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "I guess it shows my dedication because, yeah, I got sick that day." So
Oh,
Aw, for the cause.
yeah, but
There you
you know
go,
what?
man.
You have to sell. You have to sell what you believe in what you're doing. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and look,
Yeah.
I'll give Nick props. I don't care what people say. Everybody loves it, by the way. But like, look, anytime. Oh Lord, sorry about that. Anytime when Nick is around us and someone that he wants to promote a seasoning, he has it in his back pocket. He takes it out like a Pokeball like he's about to throw a Pokeball. It's the most legit thing I've ever seen as a salesman.
Oh yeah.
Because he's so good at selling his product.
Yep.
Because the second he does that, people are like, "Oh, I want that," because he's like,
Oh yeah.
you know, just reveal.
Like
Yeah.
like I said, nobody hustles harder than Nick. Hands
I
Out
down.
there.
absolutely agree with you because I don't, I see a lot of people who set up their things and but Nick is like in the crowd and he's just pulling out like Lejeun's best seasoning, And I'm just like, bro,
That's hilarious.
not saying bro, and I'm like, bro, you're selling it. You're selling it before the second you take it out like a Pokeball, you sold it to the public.
So with that being said, okay, Nick, tell us where we can get your seasoning.
Yeah, so it's at all 4 Karstners. Well, I got so many stores. Let me actually pull up my list because
Oh boy.
it's hard to remember them all.
The flex is hard with this one right here.
I'm starting to sweat up in here.
So in Lafayette, you can get it at Earl's, Little Veron's, Karstner's on Johnson, Marcello's Wine Market, Lark's Acadian Village, Sports Shack Supplement Depot. In Carencrow, you can get it at Champagne's. In Scott, you can get it at Karstner's and Champagne's there, or Champagne's in Dusson. In Youngsville, Broussard area, you can get it at B.O.'s and Chops. You can get it at the Crawley Karstner's. In Leonville, it's at Champagne's March. In Rain, it's at Piggly Wiggly and Not Kev's Specialty Meats. In Church Point, it's at Piggly Wiggly and the Postmaster's General Store. In Opelousas, it's at Benny's Supermarket and Cash Saver. In Henderson, it's at Louisiana Market Shops at the 115. In Crotch Springs, it's available at Karstner's there. In Baton Rouge, it's at Mathern's on LSU campus, Leroy's Cajun Cookware, and in New Orleans, it's available at Royal Praline Company.
Hey.
Nice.
Okay, so if they want it, but they're not around any of those areas, can they order it from a website?
Yes. So you can also order it from lejeurnsbest.com, and I will personally package and ship it to you.
Got it.
So that's another place you can get it.
And we will tag that website on this video when it drops.
That's all going on.
All right, Mr. Kurt, where can we get your seasoning? I know I've seen that bottle.
Go to Gilbert'sGreatest.com. That's our online website. And if for a list of our stores, we're in about 65 stores. Rouse's, Albertsons, several local stores. If you go to our Facebook page, at the top of my page, I have a pinned list, and it shows you everywhere you could get it. We're in several stores in Lake Charles area, Lafayette, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, just different places throughout the state. A couple places in Texas, Market Basket, and that. So yeah, we're growing all the time. And yeah, we appreciate it. I'm just like Nick. If you order from the website, I'm the guy putting it in a box.
Nice.
So,
they put that extra love into that packaging. Right?
Look, a lot of times I'll throw something in. I'll throw in a little lanyard. I have some little cans like this. I'll throw in. I'll have a T-shirt or whatever. I'll throw that in, whatever. Or even sometimes just a handwritten note saying, "Hey, thanks for spreading the love."
There you go.
That's awesome.
Love it.
I like that. Thanks for spreading the love.
Every order that I send online, whatever state they're from, I'll look up that state nickname, and like Texas is the Lone Star State, so thanks for spreading the love in the Lone Star State, or thanks for spreading the love in the Silver State, or whatever it is. I send that back.
Okay.
I send that back.
Personal touch.
Yeah,
I like that. I like that.
I love it. Hey,
No,
you gotta do that to be a step ahead, right?
Yep, something to stand out.
Right.
I also really love your label design too, man. I think it's awesome.
Thank you. That's my wife. Yeah. My wife did that. My wife is a self-taught graphic artist, and she came up with this is my handwriting, and then she said, "Wait, I got that." So she did the state, and then all the primary cuts of the animals and everything else that goes on. So it's even good on Fleur de Lis. You see that?
Oh, dang. I can't wait to try that on Fleur de Lis.
It catches your eye. When we were coming back from talking to the sheriff's office, I passed by, and that was the first time I met you, Kurt, was whenever I seen the season, and it caught my eye, and then I seen the extra. I said, "Oh, I like extra love."
Yeah, everyone likes a little extra love. Who don't like extra love?
You know what I'm saying?
Both of your products have great design on it too. Nick, I love yours with the hat.
The
I don't think I've ever seen this. I have never seen that dude without that hat. I've never seen him. I don't know if he has hair. Who
Dedicated,
knows?
bro. They dedicated, man.
I
Y'all
got hair.
was such a
Oh, there we go. Wow.
first
Oh man, you
Shocking.
don't know, man.
Oh man. Yeah, you got to be. It's like Kiss removing their makeup, man. It ruined humans.
Take that hat off,
Yeah,
man.
you can't reveal that yet. That's gotta be
Yeah.
revealed way down the line.
Did Gene Simmons take off his makeup? Everybody's like, "That's what he looks like."
Oh yeah, I'm editing that out, man. You
Yeah.
can't see it yet.
No, that's
Yeah.
secret
20 years
stuff.
from now, they're gonna say, "Man, y'all seen Nick without his hat?"
And this didn't happen.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
vaulted. That footage is vaulted.
Yeah, there we go.
They're like, no, I don't have hair.
So this is the part of the podcast where I give a little end quote to end this fantastic episode. And this quote comes from friend of Home Grill Advantage, Mr. Chef Michael Simon.
Uh-huh.
Awesome guy too. Super nice.
Very.
All right. His quote goes a little something like this. Burgers are the epitome of fast food done right. So, with that being said, I want to thank each and every one of you for being on the podcast tonight. And as always, y'all keep stirring that pot.
There we go.
Thank y'all so much.
Thank
Hashtag
y'all. Great episode.
Lejeun's best. Hashtag the Cajun Burger Cookoff. The Cajun Critique. Hashtag extra love and hashtag manage growth.
There you go, man.
There you go.
Peace.